Okay, now I'm going to do kind of like a virtual answer key here. So if you want to try the problems on your own, and you should try the problems on your own first. I'd pause the video, and then when you unpause it, I'll go through each one. So if you just want to see the example of how to do number 2, then you could just fast forward to that part. Alright, but I highly suggest you try these first. Don't just copy my answers. That's just a waste of time. Okay, so this first one is a rectangle, so we're going to do length times width, so 9 root 2 times 4 root 2. So when you multiply radicals, you multiply the numbers outside the radical together, keep them outside, multiply the numbers inside the radical together, keep them inside. Square root of 4 simplifies to 2, 36 times 2 is 72, and don't forget, now we're measuring in square units, so that's 72 little 1 by 1 millimeter squares that could fit in this rectangle. Okay, in this next one, the base is given to be 20 and the height is given to be 8. Okay, the base and the height always have to form a right angle. Same thing here in number 1 that happened. So anytime you're doing area and you're multiplying a height times a base, they have to be perpendicular to each other. So you get 20 times 8 is 160, so your answer is 160 square inches, or squinches. Now, just talked about the base and the height. They have to be perpendicular. So that's why I did 11 root 3 times 8 root 3. Now, the base could be any side, alright, but the height has to be perpendicular to that side. So if you were to use 9 root 3 as the base, then you would need to know this length right here to find the height. And we don't have that information, and we don't have enough info to find that, so we're just going to use 8 root 3 as the height and 11 root 3 as the base. Multiply them together. Alright, if you're doing that without a calculator, and you should know how to do that, you do 8 times 11 is 88, and then root 3 times root 3 is just 3, because it's the square root of 9, which simplifies to 3. 88 times 3 is 264. Okay, number 4. You have to be careful with these, because you're given the base, so you're given both sides, so like 8 or 3 root 2 could be the base. Now, I decided to let 8 be the base because I can use this side and create a right triangle to find the height is 3. So since this is a parallelogram, we're going to assume that. We know that consecutive angles are supplementary and opposite angles are congruent. So that creates a 45, 45, 90 triangle where the hypotenuse is 3 root 2. So you divide that by root 2 and you get the height is 3. So 8 times 3 is 24, right? And always indicate units even if they're not given. So you would just say 24 square units. Okay, for number 5, there's different ways you could do this. The way I did it is I found this large rectangle here first. I found it using the side lengths to be 12 by 8. So I got 12 by 8 by doing like 8 plus 4 for 12, and then 5 plus 3 for 8. So that whole rectangle in purple has an area of 96. Then I used these lengths to figure out this missing rectangle is 6, so I subtracted that. And same thing up here. This rectangle would be 12, so we're left with just this part here would be 78 square units. Alright, for this one, you're given two sides, so this side is 9 and this side is 5. And they have the height drawn here, and it creates a right triangle. And you know the two sides are 3 and 5. So you can do the Pythagorean theorem to get 4. So that's the height. 9 times 4 is 36. So the area is 36 square units. Okay, now this one is a quadrilateral. It's not a parallelogram or rhombus or anything, but it's like, so the two red triangles that I highlighted, here and here, are congruent by side, side, side. They share a side and got two other sides that are 17 and 10. Then we can use the Pythagorean theorem by looking at this triangle here with a hypotenuse of 10 and leg of 8 to get that this leg right here is 6. Could do, use that one too. I knew that this part was 8 because of the tick marks, so I know these two segments are congruent. And then this triangle over here has one side 8, the hypotenuse 17. Then you could do the Pythagorean theorem to get 15. So if we look at one of these triangles, it'd be 1/2 base, so the base is 21, 15 plus 6, and the height is 8. And then double it because there's two of them, and you get 168 square units.